start any other conference, I would start from how VR is the future of digital entertainment. But I believe all of us are here today because we already agree with that. We poured so much energy and passion and time into this immersive medium for years, right? So I'd like to skip that part for now. And instead, I want to focus on how we can create experiences in VR that are not only engaging or inspiring, but also marketable and financially sustainable. Because I strongly believe that we have the chance to redefine what digital entertainment means by growing this VR ecosystem together. I'm Jinha Lee. I'm the CEO of Spatial and its gaming team, Wooster Games. We are the creator of Animal Company. So Animal Company is a free-to-play co-op survival adventure game on the MetaQuest. Think Lethal Company meet guerrilla-style ARM-based movement in VR. And it's a spooky summer camp with a lot of suspense and chaos, comedy. But really at its core, it is an exciting adventure with full of worlds that are inspiring to explore. So that's the vibe of Animal Company. So back to our topic. I'm going to start from the least inspiring part of the presentation. 3 numbers. What are the numbers? So 1 million, 1 billion, and $0. Oh, sorry. What are these numbers? So 1 million monthly active users within the first 6 months, 1 billion TikTok views under Animal Company hashtag within the first year, and $0 with almost $0 marketing budget. Well, thankfully, it's not $0 revenue. In fact, it's been the opposite. We've been very fortunate to have stayed at the top of the the Quest revenue chart for many weeks over the past few months, thanks to the tremendous love from our community. And I think there is something really fundamental and unique about the VR as a medium that allowed us to grow so fast with such a short period of time with a small team. And so today I'd like to talk about how we can leverage VR, like unique aspects of VR, to grow, how we leverage the unique aspects of VR to grow fast with a small team. And for that, I'd like to take all of us to 9 years ago for a little bit. So we started our company in 2017. I don't know if any of you remember these videos, but thank you. So we started our company with this simple mission of let's help people to work better in AR and VR. We thought the AR and VR has a superpower of bringing people together in this like shared space and letting them do things together, physically together in the same space. But over time, we turned this technology into a platform for any creator and developer to easily launch and build and launch their multiplayer experiences on web, mobile, and VR. And it's a great tool that's still being used by a lot of enterprises and educators. But we're also looking for this really ultimate immersive content that can really take off, that can really lift up the platform, the company. So at some point last year, we were sitting down and talked about, okay, guys, we got to create something that can really take off. We need to create something that are shareable, that can grow on its own. It was a year 8 of startup. We were like, we can't afford a huge user acquisition budget to grow some experience. So we got to create something that has the potential to go viral. And it was quite a deviation from the original mission of the company. You know, we were looking for what is the ultimate kind of shared computing experience, but now we're looking for, okay, how do we create this shareable game? But we're facing realities too. So we started looking at some of the most viral games at the time were inspired by Content Warning and Lethal Company, a lot of these multiplayer games. And when we looked really closely at each of these games one by one, there's a few takeaways. The biggest one was that it's not the games that get shared, that go viral, but it's the moments from the games that might get shared and might go viral. So you can't really optimize for creating viral or shareable games, but instead you need to create games that have some chance to generate the viral moments from the game. The other takeaway was that if you look at all these shareable moments, a lot of those moments involve people, like social interaction, shared social experience. So there was a little bit of an epiphany that, okay, these two quests are not two separate things. The deeper the experiences are shared, the more shareable the moments might get. So that's how we return to the VR, right? Like the VR is a medium that has the potential to take the shared social experience to a whole another level. And we started looking at, okay, like what exact elements of these viral games what exact elements of these viral games is important just to make the game shareable. And we ended up breaking it down to these 4 elements: social, repeatable, creative, and storytelling. So we're going to look at this one by one. Social. Shareable moments always involve people. Think about all the viral videos you've ever watched online, and think about how many videos do not have people in it. Okay, I mean, yes, there are cat videos. Or how many videos do not have people or animals in it? I mean, we're not opposed to it. Shareable moments always involve people or animals, apparently. And I know we're all here because we're so excited about this fun physical interaction in VR. I still remember the first time I tried the job simulator, I was grabbing a toast and kind of throw it to my friend, and it was like a pure magic. We all remember that, right? But we have to remember that the mechanics are there to facilitate the interaction between people, but the mechanics themselves are not the subject that get viral themselves, but it is really the interaction between people, whether it be mediated by some cool mechanics or just pure chit-chatting. It is always involving the people. And when it comes to this shared social experience, VR already has a huge advantage. We're all embodied as this character, but we also really owe a lot to Gorilla Tags. Gorilla Tags really pioneered these ways to, well, first of all, they helped us to move without being motion sick. Thank you, personally. But also, it really adds to the sense of presence, sense of self-presence, that you feel fully physically registered to the ground. You have no doubt that this is the real experience, but also sense of social experience, right? Like when you see people walking around and running around in front of you, you have no doubt that they're really there because it's so natural. So your whole body understands from now on everything that's going to be shared, and all the experiences that happen from now is not just experienced by me, but all the people in the space. So, sound, please. Yeah, and the voice communicate. When it comes to building multiplayer games, VR has another advantage, like voice communication. Of course, the surrounding sound, the proximity-based sound, really adds to the sense of immersion. But because we're an adventure game, we had to figure out how to constantly have this voice communication on, no matter where you are. So you really want to take voice communication seriously and think about how do you integrate them into the center of your gameplay. And it's another advantage. Like VR, every VR device comes with the microphone, and it's usually on by default. So it is something that we should be aware of. The other aspect is the expression. The audience in VR really love expressing themselves. They take it a lot more seriously than in other gaming platforms like PC and mobile. Like they're not controlling a small dot. They're literally the avatar themselves. So you want to take this seriously. And this actually played to our advantage because of our metaverse and UGC route. We had put a ton of efforts into how do you fit these different garments in different body shapes, and how do you maximize the customization. So you want to take this very seriously, and I think people would appreciate it. Like they really, really love expressing in the game, and they'll always change their costumes, and it's not a nice to have, and I would say this is a very fundamental to continue to let people express themselves with. The other dimension of expression is the body language. Like you can't wave in PC games, right? I mean, you still can, no one's gonna see it. But in VR, the body language actually exists. And in our case, like we took it very seriously, and what we're thinking was a lot of times like players are chased by the monsters and they're running for life. So how do you capture the sense of urgency when someone is like running for life, right? And they're not even looking at your face, they're looking at everyone's back. So that's how we came up with this, whatever you call it, jiggly butt idea. Physics, nice. And so yeah, it is, we wanted to go all the way on this expression spectrum of, it's like cartoon 101. You want to go middle, like you want to go all the way, exaggerate, and make them seen. So now we have this presence, and we have a way to, express themselves with the gesture. It gets a little funny, right? And
ooh. Skip. But when does this game get good?
So yeah, so with this surrounding sound and this like nice body language and all that, like it really adds a lot to this expression sharing. Like this emotional response and expression gets shared so easily, widely. It's almost like the reaction, every time there's a reaction, it ripples through the group, and the entire experience becomes the shareable experience. And that gets more memorable and shareable. So that was social. A lot of screaming. It's actually from maybe these two people. But next is repeatability. So what is repeatability? So your game, you want your game to be repeatable, replayable. For that, the baseline for repeatability is the simple, accessible core loop. So our game, the Animal Company core loop is extremely simple. So you basically are chilling at your lobby, you meet new people, and you have a very, very simple mission of, all right, I need to collect some fruits. And you go on an adventure with people you meet in the lobby, and some stuff might happen, and you come back alive or not. So that's our loop. So basically, if you know how to get out of your house, do grocery, and come back home alive, you know how to play this game. So it should be that simple. But it's not just a core loop for the game, but the core loop for the moments, the conditions for generating these shareable moments. They need to be very easy to achieve. Like you don't want to require like 1,000 things to happen for unlocking some hilarious moments. But like it should be like a couple things ideally, or 2 or 3 things. In our case, that can be as simple as one landmine in the forest. Let's see what happens.
Is there anything up there? Is it worth?
We're next to the obelisk. Over that way.
Okay, so I'll bring the map with me.
Or it can be like a narrow pathway in the cave.
Drop their own map.
I mean, it feels really wrong to say this, but people love seeing you fail, right? I mean, it's not because they hate you. It's not because they hate you. Because when you expose your vulnerability to other people, they can relate to you. They can say, oh, I'm not alone in this, having this weakness. And now we're all together in this toughness of life. And it is how people bond and create this shared emotion. And the gameplay should be very simple and accessible, but it has to be different, variable, and unpredictable. I mean, VR already has a huge advantage. Like this gorilla-based movement, arm-based movement, it makes simple movement from point A to point B like still challenging enough. Like you may fall, or you may kind of just go on, you just get lost, and every time you move from A to B, it's a different experience. It's like taking the subway in New York. Like you don't know what's going to happen, right? Like train can delay and skip your stop, and it's so unpredictable, right? It is, but we wanted to add to that. Like we wanted to apply this procedural map generation to our game. So every forest, no two forests is the same forest. Every week, your map gets a little update, and it's a very subtle update, but people will feel like fresh and they get lost again. And so that really added a lot to the replayability for our game. But it's really replayable, like variable, because of the people you play with. It's almost like when you're going to your friends, visiting your friend's house when you're young, like you're going with different group of friends, and it already becomes like very different experience, even if it's the same house. So that's repeatability of the game. Now let's talk about creativity. It's the easiest way to generate million different storylines and moments from your game is, without manually designing all those million possibilities yourselves, is to rely on players' creativity. And the most effective way that we've found to unlock players' creativity is to give them a physical tool to improvise with. So give players tools to improvise. So Animal Company integrated physics in everything we do in the game, like from very early on, like skill tree research. Like it could have been like a simple UI that you can just like click and just done with it. But we really wanted to build this expectation that everything that happens from now on, it will behave the way you expect in the physical world. So we're releasing these new items every couple weeks, and it's tied to the gameplay, but it's also like something that players can just pick and improvise on their own way. There's always some unexpected link between our intention of designing items and what players do with it. Like you can't, it's non-deterministic. Like we really take risk and give this like physical tools and just try something you want to do with it and then see what happens. And that's kind of what it is. But now players have tools. Like let's see what happens if we give them game challenges. So give them game challenges that they can solve with the tools. So it's not like a math problem with one answer. Like when we released this lake map recently, we didn't even know like what's the best way to cross the lake. The water is contaminated, like you're not supposed to touch it, and you can still climb up the container boxes. It's a good workout, if you don't mind. But one day, a player started bringing a punching glove to fly each other to the other side of the lake. They started loading, their friends on a grenade launcher, and that it doesn't feel great when you're on the other side, but it's it still works, right? And we didn't expect that when we built this item. That was not what these items were built for. But I think it was, and some players actually left the rope to follow the other group, so the other groups can follow him. And it's just beautiful. There's so many examples like that we didn't expect how players might use our items to solve the problem we gave them. But I think it's probably when we launched this crafting feature that when players' creativity really exploded. So it kind of works like a glue, or we call it goop, that you can put any two items together and make one item. Like basically you can put like sword and shield just to make one thing, and you can put like a flashlight to the backpack. So that was our intention when we released this feature, right? Like, oh, you can now add one item to an existing item. But then the players took it extremely seriously, and they started being an inventor. And one player actually started building a functioning airplane. They took like a bunch of bathroom fans together and just put like a flashlight. They love showing it off, love the energy. And you can go submarine mode. You can turn on the light to see the fish. We didn't. Now we need to release fish for them to actually explore. There's just like so many examples like that. I mean, the key thing is like physics should still hold up. Like no matter how ridiculously like people put things together with it, and you really want to take risk and allow people to have this creative freedom. The result was just remarkable. They're not inventing things for the sake of expression or invention, but they're really trying to solve the gameplay problems. Maybe except for this guy who built the vacuum cleaner for no reason, but you really want to think your players as your creative partners. They're not, they're not consumers, but they are your creative partners. But my favorite solution was just a human ladder solution. If you don't have money to buy items, if you're not smart enough to invent an airplane, you can still, work it out. You can still collaborate to cross the lake. Not every collaboration is successful, as you can see, and but they still really try. I mean, it is. I feel very very bad for these players. But even when you give a basic physical tools and give a physical rules for people to play with, they already start collaborating, and it's beautiful. Like, it is just human nature. But you can also just give them problems that require more than one person to solve. So design challenges that demand collaboration. That's another way that we found pretty effective to let people unite and do things. Like this teleportation machine, you have to bring 3 friends to press the buttons together. And some objects are really heavy to lift by yourself, so you need to grab a couple friends to lift up together.
We all pull. 1, 2, 3, go! Pull! Pull!
Apparently,
Keep pulling!
the controller is heavy. I mean,
Come on!
I
Wait, there's some in there.
don't know how that actually
Wait,
feels,
what?
but so that was creativity. The last thing is storytelling, and this is the most important part that I want to talk about. So rule number 1, don't tell stories. What do you mean we're talking about storytelling? But what you want to do instead is you want to create stages for players to tell their stories. So I don't know how many of you played like Mad Libs games when you're young. Like you need to bring your own kind of word, fill the blank and try to make sense out of it. So think about what's the big picture story of your Mad Libs game, and how do players' unique moments integrate to that big picture. So that's how we think about the stories. And the basic building block for a story can be as simple as one monster and one map in our case. So this monster is called green light and red light. It's very calm when it's green light. It's not as calm when you're in red light, especially when it detects some motion around it. So we gave this tool like monster and map to our players and wanted to see what happens. And they started coming up with so many different interpretations, like this. Look at this. This is like a family drama crossing the forest, and we gave one item on top of this monster.
Where do you go, pterodactyl?
It should be this way.
So now it's a story of betrayal, and it's so many different variations. Now, story of sacrifice, and you want your environment to be encouraging and inviting. It should encourage exploration and adventure. So one of the concepts that our creative director Alan talks about a lot is this idea of show, don't tell. Like small door, like what happens if I open the door, and why is there sound? Where is the sound coming from? What's this fog? And so involve some mystery and pull them in. I mean, this kind of cinematic storytelling is not new in gaming at all, but it really adds a lot to VR. It really adds a lot to the sense of immersion in VR. So you want to take advantage of that. Even monsters can be inviting. Like this monster called Lanky Monster. It behaves in specific ways. So it gave players so many questions like, why is it behaving such a way? Like, what's the story? Like, why is it even there? So there's so many mysteries and question marks around this original monster. Some players actually started their series about their TikTok series about the origin of the monster. This is one of my favorite series that one of our players made.
He was instructed to clean the vents and go no further. He didn't know that those vents would be the last place he'd ever be. He woke up confused and scared, but unfortunately never found a way out. Some say Julio still roams the vents, waiting for someone to take his place.
So they thought the monster is a trapped player, who were there forever since the beginning of the game, and that was not what we had in mind when we released the monster. And the last thing, inspire the players. So this is the part that's hardest to explain. But just build a great world that you feel genuinely inspiring for yourself. And players will feel your inspiration, aspiration. I know like early days in VR, some of us were like, all right, like it's so easy to impress people in VR. Like just release a sci-fi map and people are gonna go, oh my God, this is the best thing they've ever seen. I have to say some of that is still the case. There's still a lot of values in releasing a world that genuinely is inspiring and generate this moment of awe from the players.
Watch out for those guys. Whoa.
So really build a great
We're gonna
world.
teach kids how to learn science or astronaut. What do you call this? Solar
So build an adventure, don't build a playground. And some players actually told us they feel almost spiritually elevated after playing some of our maps. And I agree. I mean, that's how I felt. And this is when players found out the heart of the Animal Company world.
What if we grab one of these things?
Again, enough blank space, let them imagine, let them fill in. And now they're like, oh, is now the whole world a living being? Like, where's the other organs? And they started like looking for other organs. So this concept was just received so well.
What
So,
is all this?
so we ended up releasing a brain part of the world later on. And now this is when the players discover the past gameplay recorded in their brain, and they go like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, has this been watching us all this time? Like, just build an adventure, generate enough blank space, let players fill in, let them imagine. That's been our success. That's been our formula for inspiring our players on and on. So when you experience this kind of adventure with this sense of mission and you experience this kind of crisis together with a player, it really builds this emotional connection and shared experience.
I'm scared for my safety.
I want to hold
go.
your hand.
Let's
Shrek,
go.
let me hold your hand. Let me hold
You know
your
what?
hand.
I'll go first. I'll go
Alright,
first,
go.
alright?
No, I'll go first.
Skibbity toilet first. No! Frick. Yo. I'm scared.
And these moments get more memorable and shareable again. So that's Animal Company. Well, thank you. So we talked about a few things, but let's recap before we move on to the next topic. So you are a starting studio who want to create these games, who want to build games that are marketable and shareable. And VR is a really interesting and effective tool to do that. We talked about social. It's all about shared social experience. The VR is a great medium for social experience because of social presence and always on microphone. Repeatable. VR makes simple gameplay more repeatable and fun. It's just ARM-based guerrilla movement really adds a lot here. And creativity is the best way to unlock a million different stories, and fun kind of physical deep interaction in VR goes a long way here. But it really comes down to, do these elements encourage and push players to tell their own stories? And the VR is a perfect tool for that because of one-to-one body movement, because essentially the players in VR are actors at the same time. So that's how we grew our game, and as a result of this kind of exploration, and our players love telling their stories. They keep uploading their own version of our games as a story format on social media and Instagram and TikTok. And some of the stories that players upload is completely irrelevant to our gameplay. Like it's quite hilarious. It's like a skit, but it's like a growth drama of a turtle and this potato's journey just to escape but it's still really hilarious because this deep layer of items and environments, it supports just so many layers of storytelling, and it's a perfect stage for giving, you're telling these kind of stories in your own way and creating authentic content. And they love bringing in their favorite cultural paradigm and genre, like K-drama style kind of storytelling, and there's a music video here. It's a free canvas for art expression, and I just can't think of a better gaming platform that supports this level of performance. But really the best part of having these great stories out there is that people love, when people see the great stories, they want to join the stories, and that's how the communities are formed. So we're really blessed by this diverse group of players who are forming community and play the game together. They have different backgrounds but share a huge passion for the game, love taking selfies after this gameplay all the time. Our developers are celebrities in VR, and they go by their game name, and the players go, "Oh my God, like this is Waldo and this is Tara," and it is really fun. This is when we did like in-game AMA Ask Me Anything session with our community, and we constantly ask what features we need to build and what animals to release on our Discord. And that's been very good way to engage our players to give input on where we want to take the game next. And some of the creators found Animal Company as a really successful channel to grow their engagement and grow their channel. Like Just Toasty basically became an influencer using Animal Company as a tool for storytelling. I love his energy, and what we found even more rewarding is to help them with a tool to tell a better story, tell their stories better. Like we released an in-game mobile app camera. We shared our design assets online for free, so that anyone can build their stories on top of our design assets. And we launched the Drip department, the content creator program that basically runs quests and events for the creators and challenges. So if you genuinely care about your players and community and creators and consistently make efforts, creators will recognize it, and it will be very rewarding. That would be my advice. Like just consistently supporting your community, ask about what tools they need, and that is the way that we found a really effective way to grow and continue to have a genuine excitement about your game. So when we talk about playing Animal Company, like playing in VR is just a small part of it. So it's really the whole loop of playing in VR and capture content and share on your channel, and people discover the channel, the content, come to the Discord, join the community. Just this whole loop's just going on and on. So that is Animal Company. But again, like behind all this is this beautiful, like passionate people who work days and nights, and we feel really blessed to collaborate with each other, who's bringing so much talent and passion, and really fun to work with. It's the best part of working on this game. The last note. When we started designing Animal Company, we really wanted to capture this feeling of going into the forest with a group of friends, with this sense of wonder and curiosity. But I still believe that some of the best adventures will always happen in the physical space. But the reality is that it's getting harder and harder to organize adventures and summer camp in the real world. And the world is getting more urbanized and natural environments are getting less stable. So we've got a lot of work to do as a society to make sure the next generation of players have enough safe and inspiring physical space to explore. But it's also true that digital experiences are here to stay. So now the question is, how do we make digital environments healthier and inspiring so that it's worth running in? And I think a big part of the answer to this question is about making digital entertainment more physically active, social, and make it empower players to be more creative. This is a long way for me to say that there's a lot of work to do for all of us in this room. Thank you.